Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Magic Box. So in this video, I want to go over some of the servo motor challenges that I gave to you in the previous video. So let's take a look. So here I have my servo code already going, and you'll notice in my code here, I'm moving between 0, 90, and 180 with 1 second delays in between each move. Okay, so let's check out what the challenges were here. All right, I said starting at number 3, we want to cycle between 0 to 180, which is half the circle, with a resolution of 6, meaning 6 different segments. So how do we do that? It's similar to what we did before with the rainbow fading. We need 6 different moves, and I do want to do them as evenly as possible. So I take 180 degrees divided by 6, and we have 30. Okay, so that's 30 degrees 6 times, and that should get us through the 180. So let's go ahead and do that. So you go down here. Okay, so we just change these to increments of 30. Okay, 30, 60 here. I'm going to copy and paste. 90, 120, 150, and 180, right? Let's see how we got here. We start at 0 and we go 30, 60. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I guess starting at 0, we have 6 moves. Is this really 7 moves or 6 moves? You know, it's debatable. I'm just gonna say we starting at 0 is not really a move. We're just starting there. So we are actually moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. So let's give it a shot. And if you check it out, you look at the bottom or the mid right, I guess, you'll see it's moving. Okay. 5 and 6, and then back to 0. So you see, I see some code here that's kind of repeating. So let's go ahead and use our while loop skills. Because check it out, we're just increasing by 30 each time until we get to 180. So let's change all this into a while loop. Okay. While. I guess we're going to need a counter here, right? Let's put it up here, our variable, int counter. I'm going to say counter is going to start at equal to 0. And what do we do here? While counter is less than 180, I'll say less than or equal to, okay? Then I want to do this stuff inside here. So I'm going to say my servo dot write counter, because we're going to start it at, it's going to first time through the while loop is going to be 0, so it's going to tell it to go to 0. Don't forget our delay. And then inside here, counter equals counter plus 30, right? So the first time it'll be 0, then counter will be updated to 30, and then it's gonna go and do 30 and so forth until it gets to 180. It'll do the 180 move and then jump out of here. I think that should work. Let's try it out. Looks like it's working. 3, 4, 4, 5. Oh, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back. Cool. So now that we have that with our while loop, so anytime that you can use one of your tools, your coding tools, to make your code simpler, you're going to want to do that, okay? Now, we also wanted to go with a resolution of 10. That should be easy, right? So then we just do 180 divided by 10, which, you know, it's 18, right? So instead of 30, just do 18 here. Boom. And we're going to have by 18. Oh. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Cool. There you go. And you could actually change this to, you know, any number if you wanted to do 180 movements. You just change it to 1. It'd be very, very slow, right? But I'll leave it at 10 for now, or 18 it was, right? All right, so let's save this code. Servo move by 10 or 18, I'll say. Okay. See what else we got here. We want to control it with a potentiometer. So how are we going to do that? We have the potentiometer here. Okay, remember the knob here. Let me change my view. Okay, this knob. Now we want this knob to control the motor. So we got to combine these two things. Let's go. Let's see what's going on here. We got our potentiometer variable, and it's reading the analog. We have these servo moves in a while loop. I'm trying to think if there's a way to combine this. Maybe what I can do is combine this together. I'm just thinking out loud here, honestly. So right now we have the while loop of the servo motor, and it moves it by 18, right? Which is 10 different moves within the 180. Now, if I want to control it by the potentiometer, maybe I could do something where it's triggered in here. Let's see here. Could be a little tricky. I think we could definitely use it with a while loop, but it's a little bit tricky, so I'm just gonna do it the easier way for now. We can always, you know, do it the kind of encoding called elegant or kind of more efficient way, but it's could be more confusing. So let's do it the easier way first, okay? So let's go back and maybe I just do undo here. Here we go. Yeah, I undid that so that I brought back my code here. Let's get rid of my counter, okay? And here we go. This will be easier, right? So I can just say, I'm gonna stop this for now. Okay, so I could do something like, I have my potentiometer here, and I can say if potentiometer, remember it goes from 0 to 1023. Okay. I'll just go with this one here. I have 6 different moves here. And so what I want to do then, let's match it up. So I want to do 1024, which is how many segments within the how many segments within the potentiometer. But let's divide that into 6 to match the 6 segments that I have for the servo motor. I see 170 around there, 171, let's say. So if potentiometer is less than 171, what do I want to do? I want to go move the servo to 0. Now, do I need the delay there? Maybe not. I don't know. Let me just leave it off for now. Okay, and then you kind of keep going. And I want to add something here. Before we would just say if and then keep on going, but I want to clean it up a little bit and say else if. Okay, let me finish this and then I'll explain. So else if, then I put something in here, potentiometer. is less than, and let's do our math. Let's let it do our math for us, right? 171 times 1 in there. Is that right? Yep. I got to do these two matching. Copy. Times 2. Okay. And I gotta fix my spelling here. Then I do want to do my servo 30. Okay. Let's talk about this else if. So what this is saying is, here nothing's changed. So if potentiometer is less than 171 times 1, then go to the 0. Okay. But what we want to say, like, but what if it isn't less than that? If it's not less than 171, then try this one. Okay. 171. If it's less than 171 times 2. Okay. So what it's doing is it's making sure that it only does one of these. Okay. If we had it like this, it would test this one and test this one. Okay. I still have this incorrect potentiometer. Okay. But I don't want it to do that. I only want it to move once every time that it tests the potentiometer. So I don't want it to potentially do this move and this move. So I want to say else if. Okay. So first do this one. And if that's not true, then do this one. Okay. And let's keep going here. Else if potentiometer is less than 171 times 3, then I do that one. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this and just keep on going. For 90. Five, 120. We're doing all right here. Oops. 6. It's 150. And looks like I'm a little bit off. Let's see what's going on here. My little math might be times 7 is 180. Okay. So, okay, I think I know what is going on here. Because 171 times 7, I think that's too much, right? 171 times 7, I'm at 1,200, and so I'm kind of off. We want the biggest one here to be 1,023. Okay, so I have this one here that's 0. So I think what it should be actually is, if it's less than, since this one starts at 0, I should start this one at 0 too. 171 times 0, and it should be less than or equal to. Okay, I know 170 times 0 is 0, so you could just put 0 like this. Okay, but then that might be confusing, and so I just like to say 171 times 0 so people can see the pattern in my code. All right, so if potentiometer is 0, because it's less than or equal to 0, then I'll go to 0. Okay, now I can change these to 1, 2. I think all of these should be less than or equal to. Less than or equal to 3. Less than or equal to 4. Less than or equal to 5. Less than or equal to 6. Okay. Okay, cool. So now 171 times 6 is 1026. Ideally I want to get it 1023, which was the mass. 1020. It's fine, because if you look at the code, if this is not true, again, because of the else if, it's only going to do one of these my servos, because the way it works, I don't know if I explained it correctly the first time, so I just want to make sure. It goes from the first one. If this is true, then it will do this one, and then it just stops, and it just kind of skips the rest of them. Okay. But if it's not true, then it skips down and it tests this line. If that's not true, it goes to this line. But if this is true, then it does this and then skips the rest of the stuff down here. Okay, so every time it will only do one move. So if potentiometer is, let's say it gets down to here, if it's greater than this number, then what it'll do is it'll go here to this one, and let's say it's at 1023, which is the max. Then it would get all the way down here, and is 1023 less than this number, which is 1026? Yes, it is. It'll go to 180. So even though this number is a little bit greater than 1023, it'll still work fine. So I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, let's give this thing a shot, man. All right. Oh yeah, let's get rid of this stuff here, right? We don't need that. Let's upload. Oh, let's connect, right? Okay, let's see. Let's turn my, I'm gonna go with my large screen. Okay. Got my potentiometer, I got my servo. Yeah, okay. Let's see what I'm doing here. Is it 0 possibly? Okay, let me turn it this way, I think. Let's see, I'm not getting any motion here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it is working. So you just gotta go slowly. And I think I have some loose wires. Let me make sure. Let's do the slowly. Sorry guys, hold on. I think I have my potentiometer here is a little bit. Okay. There we go. I wonder what. So the best thing here is probably to, let's check out the serial monitor here. Thought it was working well. I have my potentiometer. I'm reading it. You know. Yeah, let's check out our serial monitor here. Okay, you can see my serial monitor. Okay, if I'm going down now, I guess it should be getting closer to 0. 0, okay. Yeah, I was messing with my potentiometer earlier. I think one of the pins, the actual metal pins, is kind of off. So that's why, see if I let go, it might. Okay, here we go. Let me try. So I might need to switch out my potentiometer later, but let me try to increase it. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, now it's at, actually I have to like hold it in place. Okay, see, it's actually working as I increase. Okay, so this is working. I need to check out my potentiometer. I can actually, oh, I don't know if you can tell this. I think I see what's going on. Okay, if you look here, this pin here, this one right here, you can tell it's a little bent, and it's like kind of, I don't know if you can tell, it's barely in there. Okay, so let's check it out. You see that? Bent. Okay, so let's do this. Let's straighten it out. Okay, it's kind of good to see these things, because that can happen. I have a toddler. He's likes to mess and play with robots, so I think he was messing with it too. Okay, let's. There. I think it should be better now. And turn. Okay. Okay, this is at 1023, so this should be at 180. Then yeah, here we go. Better. Good. 0. Cool. So let's go back here. All right, so that's working well. Once I figured out what's going on with my potentiometer, let's add in that last part. Let's save this. Potentiometer controlling servo. Cool. And let's quickly do this. It says cycle through with, okay, so resolution of 7 as you change angles, cycle through rainbow colors. Okay, let's give it a shot. I think what we have now, it might have enough segments, because you know, it's like, is it 6 or 7? Are you starting at 0? We get like, we're kind of off by 1. So let me try to just plug in the rainbow colors into our current code and see if we get there. All right, so I have my colors here. It's called RGB functions, right? So let's try this. It's 0 RGB red. Let me compile just to make sure. Compile checks your code. Okay, cool. So that's the right name. So then in this one, RGB orange, right? And this one, RGB yellow. Oh. RGB green. I keep doing that. Green. RGB blue. Is it gonna make it? RGB indigo. I think I'm gonna get there, man. RGB red. Oh no, violet. Yeah, so it kind of worked out. Okay, great. That's nice. All right, so now as I move through, it should get to all those colors. Let's upload. Cool. It's at, I think it's trying to do violet or blue or something. Okay, so then now as I move, cool. I think, okay, so it's red right now. So this should be 0. So let me turn it that way. And make sure you can see. Okay. Yeah. Blue, indigo, violet. Cool, man. And it's kind of cool. The stick is moving like a rainbow too, because a rainbow is 180 degrees. Maybe there's a project we can do with that. I just noticed that. Sweet. All right, let's go back. Let's save this code. Okay, this would be potentiometer controlling RGB and servo. Cool. All right, so let's see what we want to do here. Now I think something that you could try is to make smoother movement between for the servo as you control the potentiometer. Okay, so you notice as we turn this, it's kind of rough, right? Because it jumps, what is it, like around 30 degrees? Yeah, 30 degrees each time. But what if you wanted to make it smooth? Like maybe you would do a resolution of 1 or something, or just less. I mean, if you did 10, like 10 degrees each movement, it would be smoother. Okay, but if you did that, then it wouldn't match perfectly with your color changes, right? Because rainbow function. Let me finish that rainbow function. Okay. Because here we have it perfectly where it matches up and it says here. Okay, for each time the potentiometer moves through a segment, right here, the first one's red, and then you go orange, right? But if all of a sudden you have, for these else ifs, if you had like 10 of these, it wouldn't match with the colors of the rainbow because there's only 7 colors. So you need to do fading or something like that. So I'm gonna give you some freedom, like just to think about that. So how would you do that if you wanted to move smoother? Okay. But then have it still fade through the colors of the rainbow, you'd have to do a little bit more complex code. Like with mine, if you do 7 segments, 7 colors, is pretty clean. But if you want it to fade as well as move slowly, it's a whole nother thing. All right. Honestly, I don't know exactly how I would do it right now, but it's a good challenge to think about. And I would say that's kind of like an extra credit bonus thing. You know, if it's kind of like too out there, don't worry about it. But I just like to throw out, you know, some stuff that you could think about if you want to challenge yourself. Okay. So I call this one a super challenge. Okay. So it's like, it's too much, no worries, you know, but if you want to challenge yourself, go for it. All right. So the next thing I want to do now is let's mount our servo motor and to our box. All right, so let's get our box. You see me on the bottom right here. I got the box here. All right, you'll notice on my box that these two, there used to be 2 flaps here, one here and one here. Okay, those have been cut off already. So go ahead and cut those off, and then we also want to cut off these 2 right here. So let's go ahead and do that. I've got my scissors here. Okay, I guess I'll do it over here. Okay. Okay, cut. Here, and cut this one too. Okay. So then if you look in the bottom right, it's going to look like this. Okay. And then our box is going to open and close like this. Okay, so it's kind of flap around like this, because if you have it like this, if you stick this in there, it's going to be hard to, yeah, actually it can't even go in. It's become a house, but that's not what we're trying to do here, right? So it won't go in, but then if you leave it out here, the servo motor is going to want to push it up, and then it's going to come back down like that. Now I like to, instead of having it flap all the way over, I want to cut this a little bit too. So I've got on my other camera. Let me make big. Okay, so something like, so this is the full, maybe like a third of it we'll cut off, like here. Okay, maybe around right here, and I'll show you on the big screen too. But okay, so if you look in the bottom right there, okay, cutting around here. Okay, it doesn't need to be exact. Here we go. If you look on the bottom right, now it's looks like this. Okay. All right. Some of your kits may, if you have kind of some newer ones, you might have some googly eyes or something. You could put it to kind of make it like a, like a character, or you can decorate it. I also have some printables online. Like it was Halloween lately, so I have some Halloween stuff. But you get creative, or you can just leave it as a box. Whatever. It's up to you. But now we have our box ready. Now I mentioned we want this to be able to, the motor to be able to pop it open like that, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We gotta set up our motor. Okay, so if you look on your big screen there, we wanna get our motor here, okay? And what I'm gonna do is go ahead and pop this off for now. Okay, and then let's open our box. All right, and I want to find, this is the front of the box right here where my finger is. So the back of the box is where the flap is, right? So we're going to put our motor right here. Okay, and we're going to use a sticky foam. Okay, sticky foam. Let's take one, and let's go ahead and put it around this. Let's make sure, actually. I want to put it here. You want to make sure the wire here is toward the back of the box. We're gonna put it something like here, okay? And make sure that this is flush with this, so we don't want it like this, right? We want it like that, so the box closes. All right, let's get my sticky foam. Good. Good. Stick it in again, like something like this is good. All right, again, wires are toward the back here. Cool. And now what I want to do, we have our code here. I want to send our servo motor to the 0-degree angle. All right, how we do that? Well, I have code here that is, it's on green right now. If I turn it, if I go to red, right? If I see a red light, then cool. You see a red light? That means I'm at 0 degrees. How do I know that? My code says that because we just did that, right? Let's go. Yeah, so 0 and the red go together. Now I'm at 0. Now I can take, if you look on your bottom right there, I have my popsicle stick and the propeller or coupling thing. Now let's go ahead and put it and add on and make it flat so that the popsicle stick is flush with this wall right here. Okay. Now, I guess I didn't mention it. If you happen to put your servo motor too close to the back where this popsicle stick is hitting the back, then you want to move your popsicle stick, or move your motor up a little, forward a little bit, okay? All right, so now that that's there, I can turn my servo motor, my potentiometer, and look, it turns that, which should control my box. Okay, so let's close it. Okay. I think I have another camera view here. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I can try to close it here. I'm going to turn my dial. Yep, and it opens. And it closes. You can see, like, you can't see my finger because it's being blocked, but okay, here it is. There. Open and then close. Now you notice that it's not really closing. It definitely opens, but it's not closing. So how can we fix that? Well, we need it to be weighed down a little bit. So some of the kits, you might have some weights in there, but you don't really, you can really use anything. So we want to put some weight right here. So what I'm going to do is go on this view again. So I'm opening my box again. Okay. So this is the part that we cut. So let's go ahead and put a foam here. And let's go ahead and put a foam right here. Alright, so if your kit has some weights, you can put those weights here. If it doesn't, you could put anything flat, like a penny would be perfect, like maybe 1 penny here and 1 penny there, or something like that. I actually found these rocks here, like smooth rocks. They're just random, you know, rocks, but it's smooth enough that it might stick on here. I don't know, it might be too heavy, we'll see. So I'm gonna put a rock here. Yeah, this is just, you know, just for now, right? It's not temporary. Okay, my rock with the smiley face. Let's put this on. Okay, we gotta get creative, right? Just want to show you. Cool. Okay, now I'm closing it. Okay, it's definitely way down now. Let's look at the other view. Okay, so it's definitely way down now. And then now I can turn this and open, close, open, close. Cool. Okay, let's go back to our code here. Okay, so the number 2 thing is assemble motor so that it can open close box. Add weights, right? Which I just showed you. All right, now you notice that again it's kind of rough. So here are some things that you can try as before my next video. So after you do that, let's do a couple things. Use dial to open and close box quickly. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let's go back here. All right, so as I turn the dial right now with my current code, see I like turn it and it takes a while because I have to turn it a few times to close it and to open. Okay, so it's nice because then I can have some control with it, right? I can like have some fine control with my box. But what if I just want it to be like, you know, I turn it a little bit, it goes boom, opens. I turn it a little bit, boom, it closes. Okay, so you're gonna have to change, you know, how the dial reacts to the opening and closing with the rotation of the motor and what angles you use. Maybe it has to do with delays as well. Okay. So I want you to work on that, and then I want you to also try to at some point on the dial make the box laugh. So what I mean by that, so you're gonna have going back to this. So at some okay, I went too far. If you went too far, then it's like just gonna do that. Okay. Okay, so at some point, it opens. It's gonna like you turn a little bit, it goes boom, open, and a little bit, and it closes. Right, like really fast. Then also at some point on the dial, I want it to laugh. Like the box would literally go like this, like it's laughing, kind of like a funny mode. Okay, so maybe it's when you turn it all the way, the dial gets to the potentiometer gets to 1023. That's when it goes crazy and laughs. Up to you. But at some point. So I want it to open and close with the dial quickly, but then at some point, this I guess special level that you get to, it just kind of goes crazy, and you should be able to turn it back to have it either stay open or stay closed too. Okay, and let's see, and then in your kit, you also have. These actually, if you look at my, let's do this here. Okay, you also have these lights, remember? Okay. The last thing I want you to do is, going back to our code here, challenges. Add wired light so that when box is closed, turn it, light is off. When box is open, light is on. Okay? So it's just wired light. If you want to do, so what pin do you connect it to? How do you connect it? I'll leave it up to you. We've wired a lot of stuff already, so you got to pick a pin that's available and wire it the right way to get it to work. But the idea is that when it's activated, I want this light to turn on. And we can also stick the light right here on the side. Something like this. Right, you see that? Like something like you see, maybe put the light over here. You put a sticky foam here and put the light there. Okay, so it's like an indicator light to know that it's activated. So when it's closed, it's off. When it opens, this light should turn on. All right, I think that's enough stuff to play with. Have fun with that. The next video, I'll go over some of these challenges, and then we'll actually get to adding a button and maybe another sensor as well. All right, always fun hanging out. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. I will talk to you later.